hypotheses. There's not really any way for us to know this exactly. Here are the hypotheses. Number one, the grain is different than it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say 60, some people say 80% more gluten per grain. I know that when I was a kid growing up on a wheat farm in northeastern Oregon, a little tiny kid, I could run through the wheat field, didn't get irritated by it at all. And it came up to my knee, and the head was this tall, right? Excuse me. The grass came up really high, and the head was small, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was 19, right before I left my home, the grain or the grass itself or the blade was small, and the head was giant. And you couldn't even come close to it without having some kind of a skin reaction to it. So the things that we changed on our farm back then make it a more volatile food. So that's number one theory. Second theory is if you take a person that's intolerant to things and have them breed with another person that's intolerant to things, now the genetic predisposition goes up. So if you have more and more people that are genetically predisposed to gluten intolerance, then you have more and more people who are going to be genetically predisposed to it. And that genetic predisposition does not mean that you will be gluten intolerant. All it means is that if you have some environmental event or exposure, your system could respond that way and could trigger. And that's what epigenetics is saying nowadays, is that we're all just waiting around for these triggers. Something triggered my immune system and therefore I ended up with lung cancer. Something triggered my immune system, I ended up with a gluten intolerance. It doesn't matter, because now we're looking at it and saying, okay, here I am, my brainstem hasn't worked for a while, my gut's been sitting there, food's been rotting, I'm attacking things that I shouldn't attack. Can that be repaired? I don't know. I haven't ever been brave enough, once I put somebody all the way through this process and get them healthy, to go and say, okay, go eat whatever you want. Because I really hate the idea that in 3 weeks or less, they're going to be back in my office with the same stinking chemical problems that they had before because of a food. Gluten-free life isn't that bad. Think of all the things that you don't have to deal with that are inflammatory conditions if you don't have it.